What would it mean to lose a song? Not just a melody, but a language, a memory, a way of understanding who you are. My name is Carolina Sanchez Zelaya, and this is a proposal to make sure that never happens to the Pirekua. The Pirekua is a traditional musical expression of the Purepecha people indigenous to the state of Michoacan, Mexico. Its roots reach back to pre Hispanic times, though over centuries it absorbed Spanish musical influences, creating a unique fusion of indigenous and colonial sound. Pirecuas are performed by solo singers, duets, or small groups accompanied by string instruments like guitars and violins. The songs are sung in both the Purepecha language and Spanish, and they tell stories about community life, love, history, religion, and shared values. In 2010, UNESCO officially recognized Pirecua as intangible cultural heritage of humanity, an acknowledgement of its profound importance to the indigenous identity in Mexico and the world. Pirecua has always been more than art. It has functioned as a living archive, a way for older generations to pass down the Purepecha language, oral history, and collective memory to their children and grandchildren. But today, globalization, migration, and the decline of indigenous language use have placed this tradition at serious risk. Younger generations increasingly consume global media content, and traditional musical practices are slowly fading from everyday life. This is why dissemination matters. If Pirecua is not shared, documented, and made accessible to new audiences, it risks disappearing. This project proposes a concrete digital strategy to change that. To better understand the significance of Pirecua from those who live it, I had the opportunity to interview Miguel Gonzalez, a history professor.
Pirekwa functioned as a social tool, okay? And it was used so the relationships between the communities were stronger. And it also helped preserve their culture, their traditions, and their language through generations.
This testimony reminds us that Pirecua is not a relic of the past, it is a living practice tied to community, family, and belonging. My dissemination proposal is organized in three phases. Phase 1: Documentation and Community Collaboration. The first step is to collect authentic cultural and audiovisual material. This means conducting interviews with musicians, cultural promoters, and community members to document their testimonies, songs, and personal stories. We would also collaborate with local schools, cultural centers, and universities to involve young people directly in the documentation process. Materials would be created in both Spanish and Purepecha to ensure accessibility. In phase 2, digital dissemination strategy takes this documented material to digital platforms. Short videos for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube would explain the history and meaning of Pirecua in formats designed for younger audiences. A digital archive would be created with interviews, performances, subtitles in Spanish and English, and educational infographics. QR codes placed QR codes placed at museums, cultural festivals, and tourism sites in Michoacan would connect physical spaces to this digital content. Then phase 3: cultural participation and community engagement. The third phase focuses on active community participation. This includes organizing workshops, school activities, and community concerts and youth music contests centered on traditional Purepecha music. Partnerships with tourism offices and cultural institutions would bring Pirecua into local festivals and public events, creating real intergenerational spaces for cultural exchange. This project is grounded in three core concepts: culture, the shared practices, values, and traditions that define a social group; identity, the sense of belonging and continuity that those traditions create, and heritage, the cultural legacy we inherit from previous generations and have the responsibility to preserve for those who come after. As Nestor Garcia Canclini argued, cultural heritage only acquires real value when communities actively recognize, protect, and reproduce it in contemporary life. Without dissemination and community involvement, traditions like Pirekua risk being lost to globalization and cultural homogenization. This proposal combines digital tools with community participations to ensure Pirekua not only survives but thrives. Voices of the Pirekua is a call to listen before the song goes quiet. Thank you.